Hey everybody and welcome back. Right, well if you're wondering why we're here, we're actually in the paint room. I had to move some stuff around yesterday, but the new alloy mudguards came from Peter Quick at British Singles. They're really nice. He had some made up to the YamBSAki 50 pattern, so that, and they really do match up the shape. They've got the cutaways down at the bottom for the chain and what have you. The only thing, I was a little surprised they don't have the holes drilled, because I thought, you know, if you were getting something made from a pattern, they'd drill the holes. But actually that worked out as a plus to me, because on the back mudguard there was holes down here for where the light and everything goes on, and there was another couple of holes which I was thinking about welding up and sort of polishing out, but as it worked out I didn't have to. But as I said, they're really nice quality, they're a good thickness. The rolled edges are nice, so they worked out well. Right, so it's been a busy week. In fact, this is Saturday morning and I haven't, apart from putting these mudguards on the other day when the stuff arrived, I haven't done anything out in the workshop. So we're going to do the bottom end of the engine today, hopefully. We'll see how far we get. Then I've got to go out and start crawling around under Linda's tractor to put a belt back on. So can't think of anything else. Thank you for comments, thank you for new subscribers, hope you're all keeping safe and stuff. So let's go and look at this engine. Right, well I've started putting everything together. So down this end I've got the head and the barrels and that. I found, when I was rooting around getting the stuff, I found those two tubes that go into the rocker box, so we can put them in. Got the bottom of the cases cleaned up, got things like the valve covers cleaned up, everything's sorted out. Package arrived from Mike's Excess, so there was a set of oil seals, clutch cable, oil filters, all sorts of stuff. And another one of those instances for all of you to take into account if you're planning to do a project. Just that little box of stuff was $200. The mudguards were $200 as well, so you know, when you're pricing out what you think your project will be, I would say probably double it. Anyway, what I'm going to do is we're going to build up this bottom end, so we're going to put the crank in here and the gearbox goes in there, but as you can see it's a little difficult with the long studs for the cylinders. So what I'm going to do is this is on my lift bench, and just here, you'll see it in a minute, there's a piece that comes out for getting back wheels out. So what I'm going to do is take that out and put a couple of pieces of wood on across, and then we can lift this up, put it in that way, and they'll stick down to the bottom of the bench. So let me move this bit of stuff and get that ready, and then we'll come back. So I've taken the piece out the centre. It's a big piece like that. Put a couple of bits of wood across. I'll actually put a couple of clamps on them as well so they won't move. So that now fits in, and that's great. I can put the crank in, everything will go in. I've just run a die down all these 8mm bolts using my little tool here. The first thing I ever made up when I got a lathe. It's just a socket, piece of steel, round, made to take a die. One of those jobs, look, it's got a screw in it, because I didn't have a grub screw the right size when I made it, as I say, I don't know, 10 years ago. Every time I get it out I think, oh, I must do that, and then of course I put it away and forget about it again. But what I made it for was jobs like this, where you've forgotten to do the thing before you start putting it together, and suddenly it's surrounded by something, so you can't use an ordinary T-handle type thing. So that'll go in down onto them, and I can even be cut. And I used a socket because that way I can even put these on. You know, I put an extension on and a T-handle, and then I can get right down to things. So anyway, they're all done. Here's our two shafts for the gearbox. So let me get the book out. Actually, I'll get the parts book out, I think, and look to see what's what, and we'll lay it out here. Got our oil ready, and then we'll put that in. We also need, of course, where is it? the gear change drum with the selector forks and all that on, because that goes in, that's going to go in first in there, and then the 2 gear shafts above that. So as I say, let me get the parts book and I'll lay these out and make sure we have everything. Okay, I've checked what's what. This is the shaft for the clutch to go on, so there's one big bearing that goes in there. There's a roller bearing, well, a needle roller bearing that goes on that end, which fits in that little socket. Then this one has the sprocket on the other end. So again, we've got a little socket for a needle roller bearing, big bearing there with a locking ring, and a new oil seal to go on there. Then actually, I guess that goes in right in there, so we'll put that on first. It goes on a spacing piece there, because the old one was still on it. Alright, then here's the drum. Everything's there. There's all the little bits for the outside, for the actual sort of catchment mechanism. You may remember these were a bit of a chew to get out because they have these little grub screws, set screws, as they are here, to hold that onto the shaft. So we've got to take them off and then feed the shaft through, catching one at a time and getting that right. So let me clean my hands up a bit, and then we'll get stuck into putting the gears in, and then we'll look at the crank. Right, well, shows how short my memory is. They aren't grub screws at all, are they? They're just little pins, and once they're in, you put a split pin in there to hold them in. There you go. So I wonder I can find my way back to the house at the end of each day, isn't it? So anyway, that just fits in there and pulls that pin up far enough to get that off. So that's that one. Then we have what are you doing, Michael? Sticking it in that look. Well, that one's still sticking out. So that one goes on that way. And then that one, the pins drop back in, so right, so now then this goes in there. That one is going to go on first. And that one is going to go on. Which way does that go on? I just put, see what I mean about my memory? I don't even remember that. Let me get the book. Alright, we're back in business. That goes on that away, then that goes into a little blind needle roller bearing. Which I have oiled. Alright, now then all we've got to do is get all those stupid pins in and get the split pins in. Now then, by the picture, them in. I maybe should have you higher so you can see in here. Let's have a look. So I've got that first pin pushed down so that when I turn the drum, see, that moves backwards and forwards in its groove the way it should do. So let me put a split pin in there. This is going to be okay. So we want to shorten these because they're a bit on the long side. Plus it'll make them easier to get in from the back. Oh, great. It shot off and disappeared, so I better hold on to them while I do that. There we go. That long enough? Yeah. Need a pair of pliers to get that in with. See, the cleverer an idea, the harder it is to work with. And we all know that is the case. Like the tractor I mentioned, it's actually the lawn tractor, it's a diesel engine one. It's got that, I need a screwdriver to split that, not my fingernail. It's got the hydrostatic drive, you know, just one pedal to go forward and one pedal to go back. In fact, everything's hydraulic. It's got power steering and all sorts. And I'm going to take all sorts of stuff off. Seat, mud guards, all manner of things, just to get at it. I don't even know how it came off. First I thought it must have snapped, but I managed to poke my arm all the way in. Actually, it was a little bit like James Herriot getting a calf out that was turned. I had to poke my arm right up inside this lawnmower with a rope and get the rope around the... God, come on, you... Oh, bugger. Get the rope around the belt, and then I was able to pull the belt through. But as for you, and you'd think with a drive belt, it's a consumable. It's something that you've got to change at some time. Oh, come on. See if I can open the end of this before I put it in. I don't know if there'll be enough space. Right, we'll try that. Oh, come on now. Now I'm going to have to hold it further down or I can't get the angle. I'm only going to show you me doing one of these because the entire video will be taken up with the one job. And I don't know how much you can see anyway. Oh. Actually, I'm not in a good mood because I've just spent ages setting up a new wireless modem. I got everything sorted, and then when I tried to connect the wireless printer back up, there we go, it stopped talking to the two laptops. So there's a lot of cursing, and what always gets me is now they make these things all sort of internet driven. Well, with a modem or a wireless router, that's no good, is it? Because you need the router to get on the internet, and you need the instructions off the internet to get the router to work. Now then, I'm going to cut these off a little bit shorter. and I'll fish the bits out with my magnet. There it is. Because I'm not sure whether it'll catch on the other selectors. That one's dropped in there. Where the hell did that go? All right, there's one on. So as I say, I'll get the other two on and then I'll bring you back. Right, that's all three of them in. This middle centre one actually just runs in a straight groove. But the other two, as you can see, move backwards and forwards. So right, let's see about dropping in a gear shaft. Like that. Goes in there like that. Now this one, let's see, I'll put this oil seal on first, I think. I need some more oil in my oil can, I think. Oh no, maybe just a bit too much of an angle for it. We'll take that off and we'll push that in on this side. There we are. It's easier. And that. Tell you what, before we do that, let's put some oil in there. Fly on my finger, look. I suppose, before somebody shouts at me, I'll put some oil in that one as well, although it looked pretty well oiled. This fly's still on my finger. Must like oil. Okay, I'll put some oil in there in a moment. So it goes in there like that. Like that. Come on now, chaps. Nearly there. Goes in there. That goes in there. That's down in there. That's down in there. Something's catching. Oh, there we are. Okay. Now then, do we have another clip for the groove? Because I've noticed on some of them, like on the 750 engine, they're only locked in on one side. Oh, we've got a groove there. So somewhere we need another one of those. Let me go and find it. Right, well, both the parts book and the manual show a full type circlip there and only one half circlip there. So I guess that's right. And as I say, everything that came out went in the box. So that's them in. They're weird the way these move. Okay, so let's have a look at the crank. Now I'm just wondering why these selector forks are wobbling about so much. And of course I didn't put the rod in that they run on. There we go through that one. There we go through the next one. There we go through the last one. And all the way in. Alright. Oh, that moves them much better. Alright. See, now that's not locking up when it moves. Okay. Very good. And I guess there must be something to lock that into there as well. Although, yes, there's a plate goes over that. Okay, crank. So here's the crank ready to go in. And all these bearings here, there are 4 main bearings, nice big roller bearings. There's a little pin in the bottom of each, and there's a hole, a matching hole in the outer race. So I've got all 4 holes at the bottom to line up with those pins. But what we've also got to do is get the cam chain in, because that goes on this sprocket and it's an endless chain. And it goes round the cam chain adjuster, or tensioner I should say. So that goes at the back of the engine, but of course it doesn't go in that way, it's got to come in from underneath. You needn't do all this if you put the chain on after and rivet the link, but seeing as we've got everything done, and this chain is really nice, it doesn't have much sideways plane at all. Actually, this whole engine has got very little sort of use on it by the looks of it, from the bearings and various things. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick that down the middle, hook it on the cam chain and pull it up. At least that's the plan, and make sure we pull it up the right way. So this wants to go to the back, just like that. So we'll put that underneath. That on there. And that's going to come up like that. And although you can't see this, that is going to get bolted on there like that. Now then, the next thing is to get this through there. Oh, that might just hold it. But this thing is heavy, and of course I've still got to keep the bearings with the little holes to the bottom. I don't know if I can pick this up actually. Oh God, that's heavy, one-handed. I need something just to hold that there and there while I lift this through. Let me see if I can rig up a bit of wire or something. I'm trying not to get oil all over the camera. You know how I've mentioned in the past that I don't have the best of luck? I'm just getting stuff together. Look at the parts book. Camshaft chain tensioner. There's no picture. Typical. Well, I've just taken a slightly early lunch so I could go and look online at the parts book. And the reason I'm looking is because in the bag with the cam chain and everything was this. I can't see where it goes. I can't find it anywhere in the parts book online for any of the models, the different chain tensioners or anything. But I got a feeling that whatever, it goes in the top half. So for now, we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to get this in. So I've rigged this up. I think I can just about squeeze this through. Let's see. So where are we? Wants to go in this way. There we go. There we go. Got that in. Everything's in nicely. As I say, I've oiled all the bearings. So there's the crank in and the cam chain. So now all I need to do, as I can see, I'll check, but as far as I can see, all I need to do now is bolt the bottom on. So we'll get some gasket cement put on that other face because it's easier to get at, and then sort out some nuts and put that on. Right, I brought you back just to let you know that getting these little pegs into the bearings takes a lot of fiddling about, but finally I've done it. It seemed as if it had dropped in, but when I checked I could move those, but now they're all locked in. Also, there's one last little oil seal, which is the one for the clutch push rod, and it goes on the end of this shaft there and into that housing. And it looks to me as if when we've got this together, there should be a circlip that goes in there. Okay, now I'll get the bottom. Right, I think we're ready to put this on. So I get hold of it. Okay, let me put some washers and nuts on and tighten all these studs down there. I think there's a few little nuts and things. Well, as usual, the job you think is going to be easiest is proving to be the hardest. The cases won't close up on this side. Perfect here around the back, but I've got a gap here. I thought maybe it was the oil seal, so I've pulled them out to put them in when it's bolted up, but it just won't close up this side. So that was all 13 nuts back off. course what's going to happen next is the jointing compound is going to be ruined. There is absolutely... Oh, wait a minute. That isn't in its hole. No. That one is. That one is. That one is. This one will still turn. Aha. There's some little marks on the outer race of this bearing. See, it's one of those things where, you know, you jiggle it a little bit and one of those will come out. Okay, that won't move. That one doesn't. That one doesn't. That one doesn't. It's still not all the way down. See if a couple of nuts will pull it down. But as with the XS750, if you remember, these are all numbered, so there's a correct order to put them on. So let me try the nuts. Alright, success. It was that bearing being slightly out. So all 14 nuts, yeah, there was 14, not 13, are on, all tightened up in the right sequence. So now we're going to put the sump on with the oil filter. Now the oil filter, wherever I put it, there it is. It's held on with 3 bolts on there, and this hole here lines up with that hole there. So first thing is gasket, and as always both gasket faces have been greased. Goes on there like that. Then these are 6mm that hold this up. I was going to use them, but I don't think they're going to be long enough. Let's put a couple on just to hold this all in place. Oh, come on, come on. You know, it's always like this. Whenever one job's gone wrong, they all go wrong because you get annoyed and you rush. You can't take your time, blah blah. If these won't fit, yeah, they're made far too short. Well, let me put 2 in to hold this in place while I go and see what else I've got in the way. See, where's the hole gone? Oh, Lord above. I don't believe this. Alright, let me find some longer bolts. See, I'm not used to this being efficient, Lark. Look, sump and bottom studs, would you believe? So here's the actual original ones. And we'll put these two big plugs in, and then we could turn it over. And to be honest, I'm not sure how long this video is, but that's going to be it for today. Hopefully I won't be so busy next week and I'll be able to get started earlier, because trying to get everything fitted in at the last minute like this doesn't really work. And it's a nice day, so I think I'll take the trials bike out for an hour. I've actually got the AC on today. I think it was going to be 90. We've got a week of hot weather coming up. So tomorrow, Sunday, laying on my back trying to get that tractor to come apart might not be fun if it's going to be 90 again. I suppose I could get up early in the morning and do it. Don't like the sound of that though. Get up early in the morning. What's wrong with that one? Right, I've finished tightening these up. See what's wrong with the one that doesn't want to tighten all the way down. And then I'll get the plugs and the big washers sorted for there. Right, I ran a 6x1 bottom and tap in there, and that's gone in now. A couple of freshly annealed copper washers. I think both of these plugs are the same. And I put a little bit of PTFE thread tape on. It's all those years in liquid storage and on tankers. Never ever made anything that didn't have a bit of thread tape on. In particular because you didn't want that sort of stuff to leak on you. Ooh, what's that? 26. And that's 28. No, it must be a 27. I've got a 27 in the socket in. Yep, there we go. Right, I think that's the bottom done. I think. Those are the holes for the starter motor, which we don't have anymore. And the detent, as I was pointed out, that it's not, the detent and détente are two different words. Well, quite rightly too. Keep me right. You slip into these bad habits, but that's on the other side, so we'll put that in when we get around there. So let me put all this stuff away and then we'll turn it over. Right, so there's that together. And everything still turns nicely. I'll tell you what, just with the crank and the two gear shafts in, that is bloody heavy. Now finally, for those of you who are worried about the dipstick, I've cut a smidgen off. It's still got the mark on. Just noticed that then. I thought, oh my god, what have I missed out? But it's the kickstart. Alright, that goes in tight, so everything is fine. Alright, as I say, I've had enough for that for today. So, don't know how long this one is, but it is what it is. So, until next week, when we will put pistons on, barrels, heads. Oh, by the way, I just noticed in that parts book, the page for the cylinder head and rocker box doesn't have the diagrams either. So I'll have to phone the people up that I got them from, because it's a Yamaha dealers, and point that out. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, pistons, barrel, head, rocker box, camshaft. We'll get all that built up, and that's as much as we're doing to try and save a little bit of weight. Then we're going to put this in the frame, and then we'll do all this stuff here, the clutch, the kickstart, the oil pump and all that on this side, and then we can put the electronic ignition on the other side. Alright, so as I say, that's it for this week. So you take care, stay safe and enjoy yourselves.